The Russian army invaded your country, right? They crossed the border into your country, and now they're bombing and they're killing Ukrainian people, your people. There are a lot of Russians on this island. Do you have any Russian friends? If Putin sat down at this table right now, what would you say to him? Hey folks, Pete here from Thairish Times. Whoever thought we'd make a video like this in Thailand, but we did. So today we're going to interview Ed, a man from the Ukraine who wants to talk about what's going on in his country. So we're currently on the beautiful tropical island of Koh Samui. My first time actually ever being here in 11 years. That's where Ed lives. So the first part of the interview is going to be about Ed and his life, what's he doing over here, and then we're going to get into the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. And I'd also like to say that there are a lot of Russian people on this island. And if you're watching this and you're from Russia and you don't agree with what's being said in this interview, by all means, contact me, thairishtimes@gmail.com, and you can sit down and have a chat with Pete. You can get into the hot seat with Pete. So without further ado, let's go meet Ed. And if you like this content, please subscribe, share, like the video. And it's always a pleasure bringing this content to you. Let's go meet Ed. Ed, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Thank you very much for doing this. So tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Ukraine.
Ukraine, okay. Now I've got loads of questions and we're going to get into that now in just a moment. But first, where are we?
Where are we in Ukraine?
No, where are we right now?
Where are we right now? We're in the hotel, I believe so.
Hotel on which island?
We're in Koh Samui.
Koh Samui, okay. So you live on Koh Samui now. I'm a bit jealous. You live on a tropical island and I live in big, smoky Bangkok, all right?
Sorry for you.
So tell us, what are you doing here in Koh Samui?
So I'm living here for the last 6 years now. And that's a nice experience because before I'm the city guy. I used to live in Ukraine in a big city, and then I was living in an Arab country for another 4 years in a big city. So I didn't even imagine I can like move to some area like that. But at some point of my life, I started to travel. Yeah, and Thailand was the first place I visited. Koh Samui was the first place. So after Koh Samui, I've been so many places around Asia. And then at some point I was thinking to move somewhere else from the Arab countries. And I remember Samui the first, so I'm here.
So Samui holds a special place in your heart.
Yeah, maybe it was first in Asia. And exactly here, like you can feel the combination of the sea and the people and the sun, the tourism and the relaxation and everything, and like easy to access.
Yeah, I know what you mean when you say the first place has, it's important. The first place that I stayed in Thailand was Chiang Mai, and I always have a special place in my heart for Chiang Mai just because it was the first kind of place I ever stayed. I stayed there for about 3 or 4 weeks when I first got to Thailand. So every time I go back to Chiang Mai, it's very nostalgic. So tell us, what do you do on the island?
It's silo. It's English label silo. We have 6 stores. One in Thailand. We have Mexico, Bali, Vienna, Samui.
It's a clothing store, yeah?
Yeah, it's a fashion brand.
Fashion brand. What kind of a fashion brand is it?
It's a psychedelic. It's a ethno-punk style.
Ethno-punk.
So we have the ethnic motifs. We have our designers, our studio. We have. If you visit the store, you will see like how different is the style, and I love it.
So Ed, we're gonna go into a real serious topic now. We're gonna delve into what's going on in between the Ukraine and Russia at the moment. So first of all, tell us, what town are you from, or what city are you from in the Ukraine?
I'm from Zaporozhye, which is south of Ukraine. If you can, I think now, like before, nobody knows where is Ukraine, what is Ukraine. But now I see the news, CNN, like they saying like where is each city located. So now I think people in the world, they know around locations of all the cities. So it's the south of Ukraine. And it's, let's say, like none of the cities is safe now, but it's quite safe, let's say, because the troops, the army of Russia, they are in the south, west, and north, and like the center area is still quite kind of like safe. I mean, but they are already bombing from the beginning, from the first day, our airport, the train station. So people still can hear the sirens in the night, in the day. Yeah, so
your friends and family in your home city are okay?
Most of them are okay. Many of them, they left. So because I don't know, even I cannot imagine the feeling. So I had the call in that day. I had a call from my friend, like the war. So my first days, I just started to check the news, checking with the friends, like how's the situation and everything. And the first, like maybe 3 or 4 days, the feeling is like I can breathe in, but I cannot breathe out. Like this, it's like panic and stress and everything in one shot. So now I'm trying to going through it, and yeah, my friends are safe, but many of them in Poland now, because I think you've heard the news. There are like 10 millions already people moved from their homes. Maybe 3 or 4 millions already outside of Ukraine and Germany or Poland. So yeah, I have few friends in Poland.
Have your friends left there in Poland, yeah?
I have few friends in the west of Ukraine, Lviv, but I just seen news from yesterday and I heard from them like they bombing Lviv too. So basically there is no safe place in all Ukraine, and Ukraine is like huge country. Compared to any country in Europe, it's like bigger than any country. It's the biggest country in Europe. So there is no safe place in all Ukraine now.
How about your family?
I have some family there is a Kharkiv, like the east of Ukraine. So I have like relatives there, my aunt, my cousins. My cousin, they moved to the west. And so my aunt, they're still there. And this is like the hottest place, one of the hottest. So
and how's your aunt? What kind of situation are they in?
So they were like, it's difficult to imagine, because it's just like a normal city, a normal village. Like you have thousands of those in Europe. It's nothing different from any European city. But when it started, they have to hide in the shelter. They sleep in like, how do you call it in English? Like they hide themselves in the basement.
Yeah.
All the family. So they were sending me the video how they like sleep because it's cold there. So they need to leave their house and just sleep in the basement for weeks. You can hear the sirens and the bombing every day. You're just getting used to it.
And how do you feel about what's going on?
How I can feel. I just hope everything is finished.
The Russian army invaded your country, right? They crossed the border into your country, and now they're bombing and they're killing Ukrainian people, your people. Do you feel angry? Do you feel sad? What's your emotions? Talk about your emotions.
Do I feel angry? I'm trying not to rise those feelings like hate and anger in myself. So I try to face the situation like it is now. I understand that like innocent people are being killed, like hundreds and thousands, and that's horrible. But there is one point. Ukraine, we claimed independence for like 20-30 years, but we were not independent, not free from Russia. I mean, Russians are always need to take our face and show like you're not free, you're like dependent on us all the time. That's all the war is about now, because they feel they're losing Ukraine, and the people we don't they say like we are brothers. Russians, they say we are brothers. But Ukrainians, we don't see it like brothers long time, maybe for the last 10 years, I don't know, 5-10 years. So there was some point it was going to happen. I just hope like Europe can see we are not Russians, we are Europe. So even it's a war, even people are dying, but people are trying to stay people. I mean, Ukrainians are trying to stay Ukrainians. So yeah, I don't know. It's very difficult to express myself.
Would you like to see Ukraine join NATO?
I think now it's not about NATO anymore, because NATO, they showed the fear, right, in front of Russia. They showed it to Russia, and it was very clear, like they're not taking Ukraine anyways. I love our president because he's very clear and straightforward. He asked like, so are we going to join NATO? Are you going to take us? They said no. Okay, that is clear. Because I think NATO is not working. It shows like it is not. It's very funny for me to hear like, okay, if Russia will step on Poland or Latvia or Estonia, then we're gonna react, or then we're gonna protect. But at this point, we just gonna watch. They like destroying the country. Some cities, some villages, they just like destroyed totally, like completely. So NATO, they're just watching, and this nice position, like we are scared the war 3 to happen.
What would you like to see the Western world do? The likes of America, the UK, Germany, France. What would you like? Australia, New Zealand as well. What was your message to these countries? Because we have a lot of subscribers from these countries on the channel.
So I just want people to realize, to understand that you cannot enjoy the life until these kind of things are going on around you, next to you. This is in your home. It's Ukraine. I mean, the name of the country is different, but the people are the same.
So I'm gonna just ask you a question now from Russia's standpoint, right? So Russia are saying that NATO's addition of former European communist countries has violated a core promise between Russia and the USA when the Russian army peacefully withdrew from Europe after the fall of the Berlin Wall. And Russia are also saying that NATO missiles are within striking distance of Russia. Yeah. And that's what Russia's argument. What do you say to that argument?
I'm not a politician, but even not politician can understand this is like ridiculous, because NATO in Latvia and Poland and Lithuania, Estonia, and which is much closer than Ukraine. It's just like next door. So that doesn't make any sense. Missiles are already there. So which kind of missiles they're talking about?
There are a lot of Russians on this island. Do you have any Russian friends?
I have friends from Russia, yes.
And how have you spoken to them about this? Have you had a conversation about any of this?
So yes, you can separate the Russians who live in Russia and who are open-minded, travel around the world. Most of those who travel around the world, they understand what is going on, and they definitely will never support what is going on. They're against the war. And those who live there, back home in Russia, if you open the TV there, it's like a Zombieland. The way how they give the news, I don't know, this is like, it's crazy. I would laugh at it, I would smile if it was not a war, but it's craziness. They saying we are preparing the chemical weapon and testing the birds to send them to Russia. What?
So you're saying the Russians are creating propaganda?
It's not just propaganda, it's craziness. What they're saying is like doesn't make any sense. It's opposite. So you open the news and they're saying exactly the opposite thing what is going on. They're not saying how they're bombing the cities. They're saying they're protecting Ukraine from Nazis, and like there's a lot of Nazis around Ukraine. And like, what? Yeah. So they came to protect us. And even I had my customer lately, they came to me the first day. They're my friends, but I thought that, yeah. They came to me and they were saying like, no worries, we're gonna protect you from nuts, everything gonna be okay. I was like, what? So even those people, they still watch.
They're Russians, those people, and they believe the propaganda.
They believe the propaganda. They're crazy. I started to call in front of them. I told them, okay, I didn't make an agreement with my friends. I'm gonna call my friends in front of you, just for you to know what is going on. So I just called a few of my friends. People are crying. It was exactly the first days. Like, they're bombing all the cities. All cities are on fire. So people are crying. People are on panic. They're already destroying the schools, the hospitals, everything. So I tried to call maybe 3 or 4 people in front of them, and I see their faces changed. I don't know, should I convince the Russians? I think they should come to that by themselves.
So what would you say to people that say that Western media is propaganda, and it's where the Western media outlets are creating fake news and trying to make Russia look bad and make the situation look worse than it really is?
It doesn't sound fake to me, because I have all the insights from my friends, from my family. These are my news, If before you can say, okay, there is something going on in that city, and maybe you can believe it or not, but it's happening in my city, in the city my family lives. So this is what's happening. And they still saying in Russia, like, nothing, we're not bombing any cities. We're not bombing any hospitals, no schools. But they destroyed more than 200 schools, and it was 2 weeks before. I don't know how many schools now, how many hospitals now, for what? Okay, you came to demilitarize Ukraine. Okay, bomb the military places. Why you need to bomb the, like, 600 buildings? It was 2 weeks before. Residential houses, like 9-story buildings, they destroyed. And it was like a few weeks before. How many now? Maybe 1,000 more. So it's like normal residential buildings, everybody living in.
How many people have died?
No, you can just assume, because like there is no information. Because some places like Mariupol or Kharkiv, kind of like Mariupol, like you cannot leave and nobody can see. They bury the bodies like next to the house. They're not able even to bury the body. So thousands. I wanted to show you something, because you asked me like, what is the message for the people in like Europe or Western world? I just wanted to show the sound like Ukrainians can hear, not every day, not once a day, not twice a day. It can be in the middle of the night. So this is the sound.
Jeez. Well, that's very impactful.
So this is the sound they can hear for hours. Like my grandma, she's saying, in the first days, they need to go to the basement. And then since the 1 month now, she already just bored to go to the basement. She said, okay, if the missile is coming to the house, it's going to be like the end. Just like that. I'm not going to hide anymore. But this is the sound they can hear in the middle of the night.
If Putin sat down at this table right now, what would you say to him?
What you can say to him? There is nothing to talk. He just needs to go back. That's it. Leave Ukraine alone.
Is Russia wrong to have invaded the Ukraine?
Obviously. So how it can be right? We are in 2022. Like any misunderstanding questions or can be solved with agreements, with talkings, with meetings, but not with missiles, with rockets, with planes bombing the cities.
Ed, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
So one of the main reasons I'm here, I wanted to ask those people who live in Thailand or who even live outside of Thailand, support Ukraine, and who has the option to support it financially, I will ask Pete to leave comments in the comments the information about the Ukrainian embassy here in Thailand, and also some international links how you can help support Ukrainian army and support Ukraine.
There you go. And Ed also has a channel. Tell us about your channel.
Yeah, so recently I've made a channel. It's mostly informative videos about how you can come to Thailand, which documents you need, because now is this still COVID situation with Thailand Pass, the documents, the insurances, the hotels, and it's a bit of a headache. So my channel is mostly all about it.
Yeah, so Ed has a really good channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description as well. He's been here for 6 years. He's making content, like he said, how you can get into Thailand, the documents that you need. So he's really clued in on what you need, and I've checked out the channel as well, and it's a really good channel. So support Ed. Go over, subscribe to his channel, give him some help, support him. This is not an easy time. I mean, he just shared a very sad story about what's going on in his country. So let's support him. And what we can do, subscribe to his channel is the best way to support him, and go over and check out his videos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
everybody. And if you like this content, please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. And share the video as well. I don't say share enough, but let's get this video out there so people can see it. So thanks very much. I'll see you on the next video.